Today I'm going to be doing my Astral Self Monk optimized build. This build is going to be focused on some really crazy powerful grapples and weaponizing said grapples. The race you're going to want to pick for this build is a Plasmoid, if your DM allows it, and if they don't, you're going to want to be a Kenku. Because I assume most DMs aren't going to allow it, I'm going to be doing a Kenku for this particular build. Now, as for our stat array, unlike most monks, we're going to be going +2/+1. We're going to have 17 in Wisdom, 14 in Dex, 16 in Constitution. You can put the 10 wherever you want it, and then you're going to dump the rest. Why the focus on Plasmoid and Kenku? Well, it's because they're the best grapplers that we have from the race option. The Plasmoids just automatically get advantage on all grapples. Kenku, on the other hand, can selectively choose skill checks for them to have advantage on. At level 1, we're going to do Druid for the normal reasons. We get the Shillelagh for our wisdom-based attacks. We get the wisdom saving throws instead of dexterity saving throws, which is really nice. We get a bunch of extra spells, good cantrips, especially Entangle, the huge. However, unlike other builds, we're not going to be going directly into Monk right away. The reason for this is that we need spike growth to weaponize our grapples, so there's no point in going to get our grapples before we have spike growth. So we're going to go get spike growth first and then work on building our grapple game. Here at level 2, our subclass for Druid is going to be the Stars Druid. The Stars Druid is going to be huge for what we do. At this level though, it just means that we get Guiding Bolt, which is great range damage combined with our Archery Star form. So now we can do things like set up our fight winning spell, Entangle, and then we can do some actually pretty significant damage from the backline. This is going to be our playstyle until we hit level 6. We're going to be playing much like a Starry Druid just normally would, even as we're taking levels in Monk. At level 3, we're taking another level in Druid. This is going to give us second level spells to expand our fight winning spells and to pick up the spike growth we've been looking for. So again, we're going to be using our fight winning spell. Maybe it's going to be Summon Beast. We're going to have some spells for those niche scenarios where we need some healing, you know, the utility spells. Combined with our Guiding Bolts and our Starry Archery form, we have ourselves a solid core character here. At level 4, we're going to be picking up Monk 1. Now this is going to be an investment level. We will be weaker than somebody who had just continued going Druid, for example, because we're not picking up an ASI and we're not really getting much from being a monk. We can use unarmored movement if we want that extra speed and the martial arts attacks, but we do lose an AC to make that happen. So you're going to have to pick which is more important to you. At level 5, we're picking up Monk 2. This is going to be the second level where we are a bit underwhelming. We will be less powerful than a Druid who had gone straight to 5. This is going to give us some key points to use, which will most likely be used just for the dodge bonus action in combination with our fight winning spells. This is nice, but we are still underpowered. That all changes once we hit level 6, however. This is when we're picking up our Astral Self. For one key point, we can now turn on our grappling ability, and we can get some pretty freaking scary grapples. So let's say turn 1, we turn on our Astral Self ability, then we use our action to go ahead and grapple an enemy, and that's our turn. On the next turn, we're going to use our Starry Form bonus action to protect our concentration, and then we're going to cast Spike Growth. Then we're going to use our full movement to drag them back and forth, and it's going to do an average of 20 damage. And that includes the half movement from us dragging them. Now, every turn after that, we can use our movement, we can use our action to dash, and then we can use our bonus action to dash as well to get our damage from 20 all the way up to 60. That's a lot of damage for this level. At level 7, we have ourselves a decision-making level here. We have a couple different routes we can go. We can go full monk from here, or we could go more druid. And then there's a hybrid between the two where we go a bit into druid and a bit into monk, and we keep them pretty in line until quite a bit later where we commit to one or another. And because this is a monk video, I want to focus on having the druid be the dip, not a half class, nor us, the monk being the dip, although those are perfectly viable builds. From here on out, I will be taking monk. Though I will say, throughout all these levels I'm going through, at any point, it would be fine to take another 2 levels in druid, 1 to get your next ASI, and 2 to get those 3rd level spells and increase our spell slots for spike growth. There would be no problem with doing that. However, I will not be in this video. One of the other nice things about being monk is that we're going to get a lot more ki to spend on Step of the Wind. So instead of just using our ki to turn on the astral arms, we can have enough to actually spend on damage output. So not only do we get faster for more damage output, we can also get more ki for that damage output as well. So 2 different ways of scaling our damage. In any case, at level 7, we're getting our first ASI and we get to take a feat. Here, I will be taking the skill Expert Feat. This is going to give us expertise in our grapples as well as round out our wisdom. So now we're at 18 wisdom and we have fantastic grapples, even more fantastic grapples. At level 8, we're going to go Monk 5. Monk 5 gives us extra attack, which is really good for helping us get our grapples off and making sure those are very consistent. And it allows us to start mixing in some push actions to knock them prone while we have them grappled, because once they're prone, grappled, and in difficult terrain, them getting out of that is going to be very difficult, especially because we have near unbreakable concentration with the Dragon Starry form. Now, something to keep in mind about this build is that we have some flexibility in our playstyle. Let's say we're facing a creature that is huge and has a high constitution, 2 things that often go together. Well, now we can't really grapple it, and we don't really have the stuns to hit this high constitution creature very consistently. So we might want to switch back to kind of our earlier druid playstyle and begin doing a fight winning spell like Summon Beast or Spike Growth or Entangle, and then start chucking out Guiding Bolts and Magic Stones. This is a perfectly viable playstyle for when the combat calls for it. In another combat, we can focus on grappling, and in another combat, we can focus on stuns. We have the flexibility to change our tactics. Moving forward, we're going to keep going Monk, which is going to give us a few key things. Like I said, we're getting more ki to continue our tactic, but we're also gaining more speed, which increases the damage of us dragging people through our spikes. And it is worth mentioning that the next ASI I'm looking to pick up whenever we get it is going to get our wisdom up to 20. That is just really important for this character to round out that wisdom. So now that after the build is complete, I actually want to take a moment to talk about how it's really weird to optimize the Astral Self Monk, because based on your level, especially when you start the campaign, the build's going to be very, very different. Let's say we were starting a campaign at level 9. Well, we bypass Astral Self Monk's weak time period, so we can just go straight Astral Self Monk, and we can focus on being a hit and run stunner and really commit to that playstyle. With this last build, we do the hit and run playstyle, but we don't really commit to it hard where we can if we were to start a later level. It just comes on so slow that for most campaigns, we have to think about levels 1 through 6. The Astral Self Monk is just really weird as far as an optimizer's perspective is concerned. But that's just my take on the Astral Self Monk build. What would you guys do to make it better? The challenge being you can't multi-class more than 3 levels somewhere else. I love how people are like, oh, you want to know what the most optimal Astral Self Monk build is? 9 levels of Druid. Come on, guys. But I'd love to hear those builds. Let me know in the comments down below. And other than that, guys, I hope you have yourselves a lovely day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.